Hate the mornings. Feel disgusting. Cold and damp. Only 2 months left.
So I heard something that you were cycling from Wilson's Prom to Cape York, is that true?
Yeah, we're going through the desert.
Alright. How long do you reckon it'll take you to do it?
Don't know, a few months.
Till we get there?
About 3 months?
Don't know.
Alrighty.
Shouldn't be any longer than that.
Yeah. Are you better prepared or worse prepared than Burke and Wills?
Worse, easily.
Maybe a little bit better.
So, you're the leader of the expedition?
No, we're equal leaders.
Equal leaders?
Yep.
G'day, my name is Tim Wills. Along with my brother Dan Wills, it was our intention to cycle across the Australian mainland from the south, Wilson's Prom, to the north, Cape York. We also aim to do this by following the Burke and Wills expedition of 1861, as we are both related to the explorer William Wills. Since we couldn't cycle on the walking tracks within the national park, the first part of our adventure involved walking 30 kilometres down to the southernmost point of Wilson's Prom. A few friends of ours were taking along for the beginning, but as the days passed, they slowly started to drop off and return home to Melbourne. Before we could even start cycling, I had discovered that the brake pads on my bike had moved together and the hydraulic fluid had leaked from the rear brake. Thankfully though, we could repressurise the fluid and wedge the pads apart.
Yep, that's all it takes.
And you were scared to do it yesterday, yeah?
This one's already stuffed. We let the hydraulic fluid leak out when we try to do it ourselves. This pad's buggered, Tim.
Good.
Once back in Melbourne, we set out on the Burke and Wills part of our journey from Royal Park. This was the first time we had used the trailers with any real weight. Winter cold headwinds, steady uphills and rain made life very difficult for us.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Name's Adrian Corvino, good friend of Dan and Tim's. Thought I'd come along on the ride for a few weeks, get some sunshine, but it's been pretty raining most of the way so far. And I'm enjoying myself.
Throughout Victoria, we didn't bother setting up the tents. We'd simply find shelter outside public toilets, community centres, cricket clubs, schools. Doing this would save the hassle of setting up and packing up camp every day.
I think this is the most comfortable I've ever been in my entire life.
Following Burke and Wills led us through the heart of Lake Eppalock, which for the first time in 30 years had been empty, as in the days of the 1860s. Unfortunately though, the bridges that Burke and Wills had used were now barely standing, if at all, so we crossed the creeks wherever we could.
I reckon go forward, see if we can find somewhere else to cross the river because it's too deep here.
Most of the Victorian and New South Wales roads were nothing more than dodgy station tracks, which avoided many of the larger towns. We quickly discovered that whenever there was any rain, the clay tracks became muddy and virtually impossible to cycle or even walk the bikes.
De-mudding, I can't move. Wheel no turn! We've come 2 Ks in about an hour and a half and we've got to go for our lunch stop and it's nearly the end of the day.
There always seemed to be large patches of bindi eyes on the ground, These thorns would almost certainly produce at least one puncture each.
I've made it from Wilson's Prom to Mungo, but that's it for me. It's been the most enjoyable cycling trip I can remember. I hope you guys can make it all the way.
See you later.
All the best. Back to Mildura for me. Okay.
See you, mate. See you, Vino.
Take care.
Drive careful.
You guys rock.
Week 3, day 1. Hardly slept last night. Feels pretty disgusting with all the sweat and dirt and smoke all over us. Gonna be another cold day, I think. Strong winds. Tim the chef. What's for dinner?
Rice, Mexi beans, tomato, and bits and pieces of flavour.
Good.
And I'm sitting here relaxing.
Geez, the camera work's gone to crap tonight. Taste factor?
8.5.
Freezing cold night last night. Fortunately we were able to stay at the shearing quarters here. Had a bit of a fire going, kept warm, but up before dawn today just to watch the sunrise and get ready, but beautiful morning.
Well, we've come 15 k's today. Still about 10:30 in the morning, pretty early. Beautiful day. We've got about 30 k's to go up to Burke's Cave, and then we're on to Little Topar.
We rode into Telter Station last night after sundown and asked if we could jump in the shearing quarters, and people here said, yeah, sure, come and stay in the shearing quarters, took it out to their son's place for dinner and everything. Had a good night, had beers, and they're going to just take us up on the plane now and have a look around at the property and a few Burke and Wills sites, so better hurry. Let's go.
Track conditions continued to worsen the further we got into New South Wales. Sometimes they would completely vanish beneath us.
Well, we slogged our guts out through the rain yesterday, through the mud. Thought we were going to be stuck for another 3 days out here, but thank God the weather's turned out for us and I think we can ride on. Hopefully to Tibooburra in the next 2 days.
While we were cycling, our minds would often wander off into a trance. At one stage, deliriousness and fatigue caused me to cycle into the back of Dan's trailer. I hit the rough bitumen at almost 20 kilometres per hour. Unfortunately, we still had another 20 kilometres to ride that night and into a headwind.
As you can see, we've been bogged in. What are you putting in my face? We've copped some bloody crap rain today. We've only come 55 kilometres. Got stuck in the clay again, as you can see on the bikes down here. Cruising speed 1k per hour. Great. 10 minutes declogging, see how far we get. Yeah.
For several days we were able to slowly work our way through the mud after removing our mudguards, but moments after arriving in one of the larger towns, Tibooburra, the skies opened up and all roads were closed for 3 days. It did give us a chance to update the website, rest and eat lots and lots of food.
don't think we're going anywhere for a few days. We made it.
For me, reaching the dog fence at the Queensland border was a huge relief.
But we stopped for camp a bit earlier tonight. It's really good. It makes it not as much of a chore. You can stop and enjoy the sunset properly. Already cooking before it's dark, make damper, get it in the fire before nightfall. Sit around and relax for a bit, get the fire going. It's great out here.
The Dig Tree was one of the most significant sites we visited along the way. This was a place where Burke and Wills returned in April of 1861, nearing death. The camp was abandoned and the inscription Dig had been marked in the tree. There they found some basic supplies which helped keep them alive, but sadly they died 2 months later.
Well, this is where Wills died, alone in the banks of the waterhole here under a tree, by himself.
Walker's Crossing was to be the longest, most remote leg of our journey. 400 kilometres of dodgy tracks and nothing until Birdsville. This was one time we needed everything to run smoothly. Unfortunately, thick storm clouds rolled in when we were almost halfway across. Thunder roared throughout the night and rain fell while we tried desperately to sleep in our small tent.
Well, we're still about 230 k's from Birdsville, and it did end up raining last night, so I think we're going to be trapped in here. I don't think we're going to get our 75 k's today that we need to do. We're on an emergency closed road, and I think about 10 millimetres of rain fell, so I don't think we're actually going to be able to cycle anywhere. So it's not going to be 3 days to Birdsville. I think we'll be looking at a couple of weeks even, almost, which is no good when we've got 3 days worth of water.
Thankfully, the tracks from here consisted mostly of sand, and with the sun coming out again, we managed to work our way out slowly.